Hey everybody, Kazar from Nerd Love here. I'm over at Griff's. He's back in the back tuning a guitar, so you won't see him this video. So I guess I'm doing a Q&A for you guys for 250 likes / 300 likes, which I also posted a photo for 300, whatever. I'm sure you kids don't really care that much. Anyway, before we get started, I mentioned something to a few of my admin friends that I laugh like SpongeBob. I actually wanted to show them that this is true, so here's my SpongeBob laugh for you guys. I get a lot of crap for that at work. Also, I found this guy the other day, and I am super excited about this. Took me a little bit to figure out what he is. I thought it was just like a little mustache that you hold up to your face and look awesome, or like maybe a mustache ring, you know? It's a little big for a mustache ring. Then I read here on the back something about beer, and it finally clicked in my head. It's a beer stash. Put it on a beer bottle. This is a water bottle. But you put it on a beer bottle like so that when you drink, you have a beer stash. I thought that was awesome. I'm really excited about that. Okay, time to get down to business. I didn't get many questions from you guys, so I'll do what I can with what I've got. Our first question comes from... Someone's calling me. Who's Stop calling me, I'll call you back later. Ignore. Sorry about the intrusion. Okay, our first question comes from a friend of ours, Mega Man. He's actually a fellow page that's been pretty chill with us. We've shared him, he shared us. He's a pretty cool page. You guys should take the time to check him out. Anyway, he asked me, what made you start the Nerd Love page? Earlier, I also got a question from one of our fans. Give me a second to find it. Woo! Sorry, I'm super unorganized. Yeah, our fan James Brown also posted, what gave you the idea for Nerd Love? So I'm going to tackle... Sorry, I get really distracted really easily. I'm going to go ahead and tackle those two right now before I forget. About a year ago, I was working security at a small gated community. I didn't have a lot of, I had a lot of free time, but I didn't have a lot of free time outside of work. Basically, I sat around for 10 hours a day, just playing on Facebook, playing games, doing my thing. And I stumbled upon the page. When I was your age, I was raising babies, or raising Pokemon, not babies. And that was my first introduction to like Facebook pages. I toyed with them for a while, found Blaze the Ninetails, really liked her page, got kind of active on there for a bit. Eventually discovered Bunny, Rebel Sparrow. Bunny's also the Plasma Girl, for those of you who don't know. She's the admin over there. Rebel Sparrow, Pixie Fangs, God, there's so many more. Aerith? I'm not looking at the name right now, so it's not clicking in my head. I've never actually read it out loud to know how it's pronounced either, so... She's a really cool cosplayer, though. Anyway, I found all those kids, and got a little active on their pages, and found the Bro Gamers, which is probably, like, my favorite page on Facebook right now. A couple other pages, got really active with them, but I noticed that, big time, there's a lot of, like, hate, trolling, general bashing that goes on forums, on communities like this. And nerds are like, we already get a lot of crap. I mean, I'm not even the nerdiest of nerds, and I still get a lot of crap for being a nerd. So I decided, why not make a page dedicated... That was Griff, he says nerds are humans too. But I decided to make a page that was more centered towards nerds just loving each other. I've always thought gamer couples are cute, I've always thought cosplay couples are cute. I have a weird, unhealthy obsession with nerdy love and nerdy love type things. Like, I literally have thousands upon thousands of pictures on my computer of just love. So I decided to make a page where I could try to help people a little bit. I've lived quite a life, so if you guys ever need anything, feel free to ask me. I'm always down to give advice or just lend a friendly ear if you need to vent. But yeah, that's how Nerd Love started. Pretty glad that since then it's exploded a good bit. My first admin was Hammerman and Alpha Mama. After that I pulled on Griff. I think from Griff I had Saline left. I I think after that I pulled on Puella and then Karos. I think I pulled those two on at the same time, and now we have Tardis, who's awesome. So we've got a pretty good admin team. A couple of them are pretty inactive, but that's cool with me. I'm not that picky about activity as long as they post once in a while and I know they're there. Okay, thank you for the question, Mega Man. Sorry it took so long to answer that one question. I like to rant, it's what I do. Trey asked me what my favorite band is. My absolute favorite band of all time, above everybody else, period, is Pink Floyd. I really like Pink Floyd, always have. My favorite modern band would probably be Train. I really like what they do. I'm a huge fan of their John Denver cover, Sunshine on My Shoulder. Really good song. They did it really well, like, surprisingly well. I'm a huge John Denver buff too, so... other than that, I really like bands. I like a lot of nerdy bands like Nostalgia, MC Chris, Kirby Crackle. Those are just a couple of the ones I really like. But yeah, for the most part it's Pink Floyd, and then from there it just kind of varies. Next question. Joe asks, what is it that makes you a nerd? I'm gonna have to defer to Google for this one because everybody has their own definition of nerd. So I'm gonna go with the Webster's Dictionary definition. And I'm gonna spell definition like an idiot. And I'm not even gonna spell nerd right. What is wrong with me today, kids? So, what it is that makes you a nerd is, from Webster's, an intelligent, single-minded expert in a particular technical discipline or profession, or a foolish person who lacks social skills or is boringly studious. One of those nerds who never asked a girl to dance. I know that's not how most people define nerd. It's kind of a hard word to define, with the way that nerd and geek have kind of slowly become intertwined to be like one thing. But what makes me personally a nerd? I'm a LARPer. If any of the people from the LARP that I'm part of heard me call it a LARP, they'd kill me. It's not really a LARP, it's more of a medieval reenactment, but there's fantasy in it. There's a magic system. It's a LARP. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I play Amtgard. That wasn't the start of my nerddom, but it really helped. I don't play so much anymore. I'm also a huge gamer. I have a retro collection that would probably make most of you guys cry. I've been slowly selling it off too, which is killing me inside a little bit. But like, the prize of my collection is an original copy of Chrono Trigger, box and books, original maps. Beautiful, beautiful game. Never gonna part with that one. I've parted with a lot, like every Final Fantasy game for the NES and SNES and all that stuff. That kind of killed me a little bit. But yeah, I'm a huge retro collector, huge gamer. I like to go on Wikipedia and just hit random article and read all day. I'm also a member of the internet. Really, once you become a member of the internet for more than a few years, you're just kind of sucked into nerddom. Like, it just kind of happens. It doesn't matter who you are. When you're on the internet for 10 hours a day like I used to be, it just happens. So, next question. Looks like that one's out. Sully asks, approximately how many hours have you spent playing video games in your life? Okay, I'm gonna need a calculator for this one. Let's see. I'm a power leveler, and I'm a 100%er. Like, any game I play, I have to complete 100%, or I'm not happy and I play through it again, and I keep doing it until I've completely mastered the game. I play a crap ton of RPGs. I've 100%ed every Final Fantasy to date, except for 12 and 13, because I've finished 12 and 13 100%. Yeah, he has, but I can't stand 12. I don't consider it a Final Fantasy game. 13, my Xbox Red ringed, I ended up selling my copy. I'll get around to it eventually. But because of this, RPGs take a lot of time, especially when you're like me and you really like...
accept my humble apology.
Sorry, there's a little bit of action going on over here. But, especially when you play a lot of games like Chrono Trigger, and you want to get every ending of Chrono Trigger, and you want to get to the point where you can one-hit Lavos, which is impossible. I've tried, I've spent hours trying to do this. My first playthrough, when you first encounter Lavos and you're supposed to die, I killed him and thought the game was crap and put it down for a year because I thought that was the legit ending. That's how much I power level. So when you consider that just about every RPG I play, I'm putting about 80 hours into, that's actually probably a low estimate. Like Skyrim, I've already logged over 200 hours on. Oh, Diablo 2. I don't even want to talk about Diablo 2, Geppo. Anyway, so take 80, we'll say we've gotten up to Final Fantasy 13, but there's a 2 out there, there's a couple of Master Quests and stuff. We'll just say 80 times 15, that's 1,200 hours already, and that's just from the Final Fantasy series. Like, I 100%ed Chrono Trigger, got every Phantasy Star. I've gone a long way. Like, if I had to give a rough estimate, I'd say at least a third of my life. I'm 22 years old, going on 23 in a couple of months. But yeah, at least a third of my life has been behind a controller or a keyboard. Thanks for the question, Sully. Sorry, we're already at 11 minutes. I don't expect any of you to make it this far into this video. If you do, awesome. Reese asked me, what happens when you divide by 0? Walk into a black hole and don't die. You've successfully divided by 0. Like, basically when you divide by 0, you get me. Something so awesome that the world just can't comprehend it. So yeah, thanks Reese. That's about all I'm gonna give for that one. You can't really divide by 0, don't try.
Find a new operator.
Yeah, shut it, MathBot.
Whatever, some people get programmed. They know how to overload operators.
Anyway, Christopher asks, what subreddits are you a part of? I used to be a part of a lot. I haven't been on Reddit in like 2 years. I really liked Reddit, and then I just kind of stopped using it. I'm not a big forum fan. I know a lot of you guys probably like them. I just get annoyed with them. My communications, I like to be person to person. It makes it really hard when you're all over the internet like me. I'm just now getting used to doing forums and stuff. But the subreddits I was part of were Random Acts of Kindness, Random Acts of Pizza, and those were the only 2 I was really active in. I was also part of a couple of the AMAs and the Springfield area, a couple other little Reddits, but really the only one I really was active on was Random Acts of Pizza, and I sent out a lot of pizza in my day. I ended up getting banned from it too because my internet went out when I was supposed to be sending someone a pizza and never got them their pizza. Well, I got them their pizza eventually, but like 2 weeks late, and yeah, it's a sad story. Cool. Thanks for the question, Chris. Comics you read. Go. By our admin, Hammerman. Oh. I forget what they're called. Yay, Google. So, I don't read them actively, but the only, like, comic book comics that I really ever enjoyed a lot of, like, I enjoyed all Marvel and DC. Most people do. But after a while, they got ridiculous. So I found something more ridiculous that I enjoyed a lot more. I want to call it Amalgam Comics, which is an awesome set of story arcs that combine Marvel and DC characters to make even cooler Marvel and DC characters. An example of one of these would be the Iron Lantern, which is Iron Man mixed with the Green Lantern. Or Dark Cloud, which is Bruce Wayne or Batman mixed with Wolverine. Makes for a pretty terrifying combination. Now, as for webcomics, I used to read Penny Arcade, didn't get very far into it, should probably pick it back up. A lot of people really like it. I really like it. It's a good comic. I do frequent Control-Alt-Delete. I've always really liked them. I like the writer a lot. Before it went down, I was obsessed with Losers webcomic. Like, Losers was my favorite of all times. The writer's working on something new called Quarter Life Crisis. It's okay, but just doesn't have that same immature swag, you know? Let's see, I used to read Mega Tokyo, but I stopped about a year ago. Really enjoyed it. It was a really good comic.
Yeah?
I think that's about it that I really frequent. I've been reading Pokemon Adventure, but I haven't made it very far. Okay, so let's... Oh, favorite video game. This was one of my admins. I don't know who asked it. If they're adminning this page, they probably should know by now. I am completely and utterly obsessed with Chrono Trigger. To the point that I once locked myself in my room for 2 weeks, skipped school for 2 weeks, did not set down the controller for 2 weeks, ate maybe 3 or 4 times in that 2 weeks, and lived off of water and my sheer will to game. I played through every possible completion you could in that 2 weeks. I am stupid obsessed with Chrono Trigger. That is actually tied for favorite game with the original Suikoden and Suikoden 2, though. Those 2 games I've logged equal amounts of time in with Chrono Trigger, probably as obsessed with them as I am Chrono Trigger. Issue is, it's really hard to find copies of those games anymore, so I don't get to play them as often. I'm not a big ROM fan, and I don't want to play them on a ROM. Don't even tell me to go play them on a ROM. I'm just gonna ignore you. Like, yeah, don't bother. But yeah, anyway, Chrono Trigger and Suikoden, those are probably the favorites. Mario RPG is probably a close second. Our admin, Karos, asked, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck (Norris wood? Now, I'm not sure what the life expectancy of a woodchuck is. Like what? You guys have any idea how long a woodchuck lives?
I'm going to say 10 years.
Yeah, it's a smaller animal, probably similar to a dog. They probably live around 10 to 13 years.
They probably get mauled before their end of their thing.
Yeah. Now, I happen to know just off the top of my head that a woodchucking woodchuck can chuck 24 quarts of wood per day. They're small animals. That's a lot of wood for a woodchuck. Now, if you consider that... Here's what? 300... There's 365.25 days in a year. That means each year they can chuck about 8,766 quarts of wood. Now, when you consider that they have a 10-year lifespan, that's 87,660 quarts of wood a woodchuck can chuck. A woodchucking woodchuck can chuck in the course of its lifetime.
If it did nothing but chuck from birth to death.
Yeah, if it did nothing but chuck from birth to death. Well, eating, of course. So it would have to eat, drink, excrete all of its fecal matter and all that, while chucking wood constantly.
Oh,
it would be pretty damn ridiculous.
Man, woodchucks are badass.
But, you gotta take a second and look. He put parentheses, Chuck Norris wood. You cannot chuck Chuck Norris wood. It just doesn't happen. If you tried to chuck Norris wood, you would end up with a beard fist to the face and probably explode, go back in time, and end up chucking your own son. It happens. Heck, you might have to go forward in time. It's a Norris beard fist. It ignores the laws of physics. Anyway, that was my last question. I'm sure the kids here are annoyed at trying to be semi-quiet. I'm sure none of you, if any of you guys have made it to the end of this video, then comment, which is the Wookiee noise. I don't care how you type it, just comment it. And I'll give you a shout out, who knows, maybe in a month or two when I have money after sending out all of these prizes from the logo contest. That's put me back a little. Who knows, maybe if you actually made it through this video, I'll send you something or give you a shout out, or yeah, just comment some kind of Wookiee noise on the video so I know you actually did. That's all, kids.